So apparently, almost a year ago, they did a study. Well, it was about a year ago, I guess. So apparently, almost a year ago, they did a study that proved that humans have the ability to detect the Earth's magnetic field, which is just really interesting. I mean, they noticed that those microorganisms before, but they didn't know if there was a sense involved with it, and they basically tested some people inside of a Faraday cage and proved that that sense exists. Now, whether it um, influences behavior or anything like that, that's they don't really know about that yet. They haven't been able to test that out, but it's pretty cool. Let me just update my stream title here. Okay, and so yeah, they were able to prove that humans have a sense for the Earth's magnetic field, and they were able to prove that that's an observable phenomenon. Human behavior changes whenever that sense for the magnetic field is disrupted in some way, or at least the research itself indicates that that is a possibility. Now, whether we can draw any conclusions about whether human behavior is influenced by this perception, I guess you could call it, is something that is up to future years. But within the past year, they were able to prove that. And due to research previously, that proved that there are microorganisms or cells, I guess, inside of the human brain that have these magnetites that can, that are sensitive to magnetic fields that are sometimes also present in other animals. I mean, that's pretty significant of a revelation for the scientific community. Just waiting on a blacksmith to pop up here so I can get that boost, and then I may do Diamond Forge template after abdicating. Today I finished the book Siddhartha, written by Hermann Hesse, and it's a pretty good read, honestly. I'd have to do some more research on the journey of Buddha and that sort of thing in order to really build up my comprehension of the subject matter. But, I mean, as far as the story goes, it was fun to read, it was interesting, and I really enjoyed it. I'd give it a minimum 7 out of 10. I might hop on the Overwatch after, but frankly, playing Overwatch just tilts me so much. Like that's one of like two games that I get really tilted while playing. That game can really get under my skin. It's one of the few games where it's team based, but the reliance on your team is so strong that your individual performance is almost negligible. I mean, there are stories of like, and even VODs, right, of widows like carrying an Overwatch game, but that is not a common occurrence. Even if you're like a diamond widow, you're not going to even carry a bronze game. Like, it's pretty hard to do that. You have to be really good. Um, and yeah, you have to have at least one other teammate who's playing really good in order. Climbing up the SR ladder in Overwatch is much more toxic than climbing Elo in League, in my opinion. In fact, I can't even remember a time I played League and I got anywhere near as tilted as I do during an Overwatch game. And that's with the entire community being very toxic on average. Um, back when I was playing League. I mean, when I first started playing League, it was a brand new game. There wasn't a toxic community or anything. That was like a more recent development. Um, I remember that around season 2 or season 3, the game was really great. League was a really fun game, and even the socials community was pretty decent. There were some pretty overpowered champions. Champions like Garen and stuff were actually like super good, and I guess he made a little bit of a comeback recently. But Yeah, there are a lot of weird things like that going on. People stacking Sunfire capes. Stacking Sunfire capes is kind of funny, actually. Now that I think about it. But yeah, there's just a lot of weird builds, and Gangplank was fun to play, and there's like a tank ascend type thing going on, a tank Shen type thing going on. Okay, here we go. Upcoming first blacksmith, and then we get a second blacksmith. Then we'll go ahead and abdicate, go into the Diamond Forge, and just rest on our laurels and just accept the significantly less RNG nature of Diamond Forge, because we were doing Diamond Forge before. It was slow, steady progress, but at least it was steady progress. The Lightning Forge thing is way too RNG heavy, and it's just not. I don't know. It's just not fun or exciting on stream, in my opinion. Maybe if I was, letting it run overnight or something, then, Lightning Forge would be more conducive to my gameplay interests, but not the way it is now.